Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. A very special 360th episode here today. We have a full quad box. We are joined by the one and only Quantum Variant. We do also have our regular co-host, Biggie Poppins, Gifted, and a slew of breaking news for everybody. So expect. I don't know how Biggie keeps doing that. Biggie, I don't know how you have this cool feature.
Dude, I don't fucking know. Like it happens. Like I need to understand this. I thought it was you doing this all the time.
It's definitely not me. So I don't know what that is. But anyways, let's go around the box. Folks, if you are here for the first time, this is NFT Live. We cover the NFT and Web3 industry every single day. We just jumped off of our X Spaces and we hop into NFT Live for a full hour of content with y'all, some content and connection, if you will. But let's connect with Quantum Variant, joining us for the very first time. If I had a soundboard, I'd be smashing it. Welcome, sir.
Hello. How are you? Nifty. Oh, Biggie's giving hearts out. Look at him.
I found the trick. Oh my God! Now you won't see the end of it.
You're throwing everyone off.
No, I'm excited to be here. First time. I'm always watching. I'm always in the comments. So excited to kind of do this live with a nice mic, a little bit of a nice mic,
a little Ryan Carson action, putting us to shame.
Oh
Biggie,
my God,
Biggie Poppins, you are not in your regular location. Good to see you on the road again. How are you doing?
Yeah, buddy? I can't stay put, man. I can't stay put. Yeah, it's nice. I'm down south in Mexico. I'm at my folks' place. We're gonna be doing a little traveling next week, this week, but I'll be hopping on, so you can count on me to keep joining the party.
I appreciate it, brother. Good to see everybody here as well. Gifted, my wonderful companion here, my co-host, my friend. How are you doing, bro? Nice jersey.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, we actually got a couple mutants up here. It's Quantum rocking some mutant swag too. Look, Biggie Poppins showing the dedication, the commitment, even when he's on the road. He's here with us, and we appreciate that. But super happy to have you, Quantum Variant, because we've been trying to get you on the show for literally, like I said, I think decades at this point. It's maybe been over 100 years that we've been trying to get you here.
Is this your first time doxing, Quant?
No. People know who. No? I mean, Jessica did that video with Nifty.
That was
Kid.
sick.
Yeah,
it was a great video, by the way.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah, we should also just
live show. Yeah, okay.
Throw that in here as well. But no, he's been in the space with us, at least me, with us since the beginning. One of the most thoughtful, creative people, and one of the best educators too. Like he's super dedicated to creating valuable content. And you've always been a really awesome person in the community, very engaged here too, providing a ton of value across all of our shows. So no, dude, I'm just stoked that you finally, whatever it was, whether it's the mic that gave you the confidence or whatever, you're finally like, all right, I'll come, I'll do it, and you're here. So
I love it so long.
I hope this is the first of many times. I hope you'll start to show up here more often, man.
Yeah. You got to have some decent quality when you come on. So,
we appreciate that. Not everybody cares.
Not everybody does that shit. They're like, I'm coming onto a live video show without a camera.
The cell phone will work, right? So I'm in my car. Is that cool? Like, oh, come on, man. Yeah,
don't talk smack to Star-Lordy like that.
We appreciate. I would never. No, we appreciate the attention to detail and the quality. Clearly, we try and uphold that here.
Quantum, one thing I will say, I need a request here. I need a pinned tweet from you of the video, man. You need to get that pinned tweet action going because I would love to pull up. We are Trailer Maxis here, as you know. But yeah, if you could drop that into the private chat, we'd love to pull that up because that was an awesome feature by Nifty Kit.
Yeah, the private chat is locked for me, so I don't know if it's
that's
technical.
Weird.
Give this man some privileges.
We should be able to just open it up. It says locked to me too, but maybe because it's your first show, they don't trust you yet with that kind of power. But shout out to Jess J Yacht too, who actually helped produce that video. Hopefully, again, we'll show that here in a moment. But also, really quickly, like we were already showing on the screen, just know this is not financial advice. We gotta say it. I know it's like, oh God, I know. I say it all the fucking time. Like I know, I get it. But we have to, for your safety and ours, remind everybody we're not financial advisors. Nothing we talk about on the show is financial advice, and we're just talking about cool shit on the internet. It's all our own opinions, public domain. Do your own research.
All right, some breaking pieces of news here that we'll get to in just a moment from Coinbase and the Base blockchain. Folks, if this is your first time here, again, leave a like if you appreciate the people up here as we go throughout the episode, or now. You can do it now if you want. Also, if it's your first time here, we are doing this daily at 1 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate the folks that are joining. Guys, it's early in the episode. We're actually sharing out all the links on socials, trying to get as many folks in here as possible, get as much reach, if you will. But let's get into the breaking news right up front, because I do have some pieces here about Base. So right off the bat, yeah, you see here from DGen News, Build on Base is open sourcing its code. But and that's obviously important. You obviously want developers there on the platform. Quantum, I don't know if you want to speak to that. You have much more of a technical prowess than we do, but open sourcing code feels like a good bullish signal that Base is looking to expand its developer kind of base, pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of signaled that they wanted this to be open source and they wanted it to be decentralized, which I think was a big bullish move, right from the get-go. But I also, it's built on the top of Optimism, and Optimism has also been making some really big moves to decentralize their layer 2 and put what they call is like their proofs online on Ethereum, so that everything is more decentralized and not held to that same standard. So this is, I think Coinbase has been making a lot of right moves in 2023 compared to 2022. So I'm bullish on it.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I do have this as well to go along with it. Coinbase, and this comes from Sammy, but also I want to make sure, I think it was OG that shared this to me in my DMs. This is a post that is speculating that basically we might see a Base token sooner rather than later. You can see on this post, so does this mean they'll be launching a token? Not necessarily, but this certainly increases the feasibility. Chief legal officer hasn't ruled it out. Regulatory pressures, of course, are in the U.S. and pretty strong. But I'll link this chat here for you guys. But yeah, speculation around a Base token and having that as well on the same day that they're open sourcing their code is pretty dope.
And that's because they based, quote unquote, in Ireland, right? Like, I think that was the big people were questioning, like, oh, Ireland, they have different regulations than the US. Maybe they can release a token.
Hell yeah. And I think that's the same case with the UK, right? Like they are open to this innovation and to people experimenting. Our friend Mark from Apollo is also based in the UK, and very much like Asia, they are trying to take up all that flight of brain power and capital that the US government is producing with all this constant negating of innovation.
Yeah, and I've heard from people much smarter than myself in the community that like it was always their plan to launch a token. They just, for obvious reasons, they were slow playing that. And again, I mean, not financial advice, but why wouldn't they, other than regulatory uncertainty, which it seems like they've been, again, positioning themselves and insulating themselves from. They've been moving out of the US more and more of their operations, specifically for that reason, exactly like Al just said. Why wouldn't they launch a token then if they can get away with it?
Yeah, there's a couple more pieces here of breaking news on the regulatory front. Elizabeth Warren, there's a couple things on Elon Musk and Mark Cuban joining forces. But before I get to that, I did want to share quickly. The main topic of today is going to be, up on that thumbnail, as you saw when you joined, is Bored Ape Yacht Club back. We did have a Daniel Allegre post to the community. I'm glad to have Quantum Variant in here because, of course, you are in the community and you have been for a long time. So I would love to have that conversation. But breaking piece of news as well from Waldo here, an update on the FAQ on Otherside Meta. It looks like we're getting ships. I don't know how big this news is, but you can see here on the updated FAQ, to construct a ship, players will need to gather enough ship parts so they can build these 6 unique components. Each component requires 10 parts to complete its construction. So this apparently was not in the original plans for Otherside, but now we are potentially getting some ships, maybe some alpha there.
So a ship's going to get us from land to land. Like, there's so much We don't know about the other side. We don't know even if we can build on there. I don't know. I have a lot of questions on what the other side really is going to be. You know, but I'm still
Boost
playing all the
cruise,
games.
baby.
I mean, well, one of the things that we know it has to be is it has to be fun. And like that, the first thing that comes to mind with me, besides the fact that it can be another cool way to like, you know, farm and generate at different cool assets and things like that, is just that like it's fun to fly around in a fucking spaceship. I mean, Star Wars, Star Trek, all like there's so many different games already that are built around the idea of, you know, traveling in between different planets. And I think you're right. Like Quantum, like it's already a massive map with a bunch of different sort of mini planets in a way, right? The different plots. So it could even just be used, you know, between plots, but maybe this just opens it up to expand vertically, you know, in a lot of different other ways too. So who knows? But I just think hopefully it provides another level of fun to the whole experience and more layers.
Yeah, Squashman's in the chat saying Marty's going to have a field day in this chat today. There were references to ships previously, but now we've got a little more detail. Choina, OVOT, Prodigy's commenting on Quantum Variant being here, DP as well. Good to see you guys joining early. We are still sharing out the episode. If you guys could do your part, maybe hit it on X or like it on YouTube. We appreciate you guys. Wherever you're watching us, we appreciate that. A lot of viewers now on X. I think it's like almost overtaking our YouTube viewership, which is awesome.
Oh, wow.
To see a little bit.
Are they able to interact the way the YouTubers can? They can't comment?
I wish.
Oh, man.
We can't see their comments. That's the
Get
real
on
downside.
it, Elon. We need that.
Okay, so I want to stay in this conversation. Is Bored Ape Yacht Club back? We did have this Daniel Allegre post here that we can go through. But before we do that, I want to just go through the trailer. We are Trailer Maxis. This was put out about a week ago, right? The show of Metropolis, because Meebits were a part of that conversation. 10KTF was a part of the conversation with Daniel and that post there. CryptoPunks as well. But this specifically, I think, was focusing on Meebits. So let's watch it. All right, and in this post, you can see in our second Otherside trip, Meebits and Voyagers explored the new island of the Otherside Metropolis. So a focus on the Meebits from the holder perspective. They invited those holders to be a part of it, as well as kind of focusing in on Metropolis, which is going to be in the other side. Going to be apparently a big factor, at least initially. So, guys, well, let's jump into the Allegre post. If we want to jump into the Meebits convo as well. I know that was kind of a follow-up on what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think Meebits brings more people into the other side, right? You know, and it brings more people into the community that is owned by Yuga, you know, like I think we can't forget that Yuga also has like a lot of the World of Women and the Cryptodes and a couple of other projects that will also be into the other side. And Meebits adds 20,000 plus punks, you know, into that other side world. I'm hoping that, you know, other side kind of becomes this, you know, not just a game, but also an event space, you know, from around the world. Like we have Hong Kong happening in next week, or it's kicking off soon. And I'd love to check it out in the other side and not have to go to some other, you know, virtual world to check out Hong Kong, you know, and that whole Ape Fest. But we'll see.
It's a good point. And it's cool to see the world of Otherside and the integrations like coming to life in different ways and people being able to engage with it. I think like if we kind of extrapolate from the Metropolis thing here, then you could imagine that each within the other side somehow in there, whether it's like a portal or a place that you travel to with a spaceship, or it's like actually part of the main island, whatever it is, you can probably assume that each of the main brands that are in this ecosystem now, and maybe some of the partners too, are going to have some kind of experience, some kind of their own world or city or something like that, where you can do unique things specific to that brand and see that brand come to life in different ways. So that's interesting to think about. We know 10KTF has Neo Tokyo or whatever, kind of this in the lore. It's like that's the place, the setting for a lot of stuff. So I fully expect there's going to be a giant Neo Tokyo. But so it's fun to kind of think about, what each of these sort of brands bring into the other side experience as we start to see more teased out. I really like that. I still have a lot of questions around Meebits in general as an IP. Like, is it its own sort of sandbox Roblox thing within the other side? Is that like the idea? Is it supposed to be these emote? Like, do you build it out as like character emojis and things like that? Like, I don't really understand the lore or like from an IP perspective. I just still have so many question marks around it.
Well, you're adopting a very familiar look, right? Like you said, from the roadblocks and all that. So I think like that was their aim initially, to appeal to all these people that are already like are familiar with that look and are accustomed to playing in Roblox, and trying to like maybe at some point entice them to come over and get themselves an NFT Web3 enabled asset that can let them play within this new metaverse, right? Like, I mean, I think like 20,000 is not a lot, especially for the type of space that Yuga's trying to build out. That's why they're including World of Women and Cryptodes and so many other IPs, right? Like, I think it's just a matter of taste in this particular case. I do find though that, like, I mean, we've already found out like how much ahead, how far ahead like Larva Labs thinks, right, in terms of like this space. We've seen it, and how many like, I don't know. I'm very curious to see how many Easter eggs have yet to be found within some of these Meebits, right? Because we know they have like intestines and internal organs, and we know that they love to play around with like their autoglyphs, at least with the protoglyph that they launched with Proof. They had like this Morse code that pointed to Meebits that you were able to claim. I think we haven't like uncovered the whole, you know, entire ecosystem that maybe like they had intention, plus whatever Yuga's gonna add on top, right? But regardless, I find them to be pretty accessible, like metaverse players or IPs. Like I don't think too many people, especially normies that might come in later down the line, scoffing at it, right? Like maybe for us, like they're a little bit bland or typical, like we said, but for others, I think they're kind of cool. I particularly like the ones that are, like the elephants and the pigs. Like those are pretty dope. Like, not gonna lie. Like I wouldn't mind eventually picking up a new bit.
Do you think
I
that
don't know.
these can hold a 1 ETH floor though at their supply?
Maybe.
Like, do you think that this is a fair valuation?
No,
At this point?
and there's a reason why I haven't bought one right yet. Like I do think, like, I mean, again, like we talked about in this channel many times before, I was early into Sandbox. I did all right, but I still hold some assets, and I've made a couple of other metaverse plays, and I've learned my lesson, as they say, right? Like it's a bit too early. I don't think like it's shit. I don't think it's going anywhere. I'm very bullish, and if you want more sources to be bullish on the metaverse, follow Supermassive, right? And the Based Heads, and see what they're doing with Unity and the whole Fortnite ecosystem, right? Like it's happening, folks. It's just gonna take a little bit longer. And as for the floor price, yeah, I agree with you, Gift. Like, I don't know, unless you find something that you really, really love and that you find is rare and it's not gonna go down much more in floor price, sure, go get it. NFA, DYOR as usual, right? But if not, like I don't see any harm in waiting, right? Like it's not gonna, I don't know. Maybe Yuga surprises us, and by next year we're all jamming in the metaverse. I doubt it.
It was a 2.5 ETH floor. I mean, it was 2.5 ETH on the mint. That's the rare thing about, I think, that puts a shadow over Meebits in the Yuga world is just how everything else is above mint except for Meebits, right? Mutants are what, 5, 6, dogs were free, right? So, and Meebits were 2.5. That was a lot of money to spend, during that bull. But so were mutants, but at least mutant held their floor,
And I think additionally, one thing that we've also discussed in this channel before, and that Meebeats lacks, is a central leadership personality, right? Like Meebeats aren't exactly punks. They're more like, they got bought out like almost right after they came out, and their purpose, they do have utility, right? Like they're meant to be for the metaverse, but there isn't like a central like leader or a face for this, right? Just yet. Like there's been a couple of people that have tried to, take that mantle and run with it. I know Sergito has tried to do that with the Meebs of production, kind of like riding the wave for of Punk 6529 with the memes. I don't know how well that's worked out, but I know he's very bullish on the Meebs. Let's see how it plays out. But I think, in my opinion, like we've discussed here, you do need like somebody to take that mantle and be like the leader or the face of this project. And I like you guys have all said, right now Yuga has not given it that weight or attention.
Can I throw something interesting into that? Because you're making an interesting point here, but I think it's kind of also making the point or the concern that I have, and that's that if the lore, the IP, the whatever was strong enough by itself, I don't think you would feel so strongly that like that lack of having a face or another person like run it, like stepping into the spotlight to kind of like take that, I like, but what I'm trying to say is like, I think you need more of that with this project, because to me, the IP is not as strong. So like and I'm just kind of pointing that out. Like, I feel like you're right. It suffers from both. It doesn't have a face, a strong, charismatic leader. It doesn't really have any of that. And to me, you feel that even more because the IP itself isn't doing that much right now for a lot of people.
Gifted is not a fan of pixelated characters in your IP. I'll just say that out front.
Look, I'm simultaneously, my PFP has been a Nakamigo for a while.
That's true.
So I'm just saying, like, dude, look, CryptoPunks has a culture and has built its own lore over time. I think it's possible, but I do think that there's a reason why Genkai and a lot of other pixel projects have been shifting into more illustrative, emotionally accessible, like different types of art, because they feel limited within that style.
I see where you're going. It's interesting that Otherside actually made the move and made Metropolis more pixelated in total, right? It's not like the Meebits that are there. It's like the entire island is pixelated. All right, fine. If I had the balloon thing that somehow Biggie is able to pull out of his ass here, I would do it, because we finally have Choina. Marty McFly saying the answer to the thumbnail is no. So we finally have the Yuga footer here, which I want to recap. Yeah, good job, Biggie. I want to recap the rest of this, because we did we focused in on Meebits. I don't even want to touch the 10 KTF piece of this too much. I really just want to kind of get to the heart of the question after this post, which is, have we finally seen kind of this bottom of not only floor price that we've kind of just trending sideways for a while, but more so on the sentiment? Because the sentiment pre this announcement was, what's happening? Literally what is going on with the team? What is going on with all these different IPs? So anyways, he's mentioning 10KTF here in his post. In my mind, 10KTF deserved a more substantial role in the world of Yuga. The Thursday events have been important to the community, but we needed to find an even deeper engagement opportunity. Obviously, Meebits is super tied in now to the other side. That is objective. They are tied now directly to the success of the other side. Whereas CryptoPunks, he mentioned Let's see. What we continually heard from the CryptoPunks community was that Yuga didn't care, while at the same time there was a strong desire to be left alone. So these guys aren't going to be tied to the other side, of course. He also mentioned at the end of the post as well, PS also Clubhouse, which brings in the Miami Clubhouse piece that's on the roadmap, and whether that's viable at all, this Soho House type of vibe. So, guys, I kind of set it up there with a couple different topics. You just jump in where you see fit, whether it be 10 KTF Punks or the Clubhouse.
I'll just throw in real quickly. One of the conversation points that came out of GM Web 3 was a concern around the Clubhouse sustainability, because we've seen IRL events, like even the proof of conference, they shifted this sort of a pop-up, right? Because they were like, okay, what can we do? And so they came up with this solution of like a 6-month sort of thing, which I think was really smart. Like, I think that was a cool thing. You were able to do something that wasn't just a one-off, provide some utility to the community, but also understand, like, we probably can't sustain having a full place right now in LA or know the best way to do that. So they came up with that sort of like in between. We've seen things like Quantum Space here in LA that, by the way, no relation to Quantum Variant here, but that was... some really big people behind that, and they were coming in at a good time, but they never figured out a business model, and they were spending way too much money, like $60,000 a month to rent out like a prime piece of real estate in Santa Monica. And that failed, right? They just didn't figure it out and had to close up. So there's an interesting question here around what is the sustainable business model aspect to this, of how can they make sure that this is a really awesome experience and a service to the community, a utility that is not just, here and gone.
Have you been Soho House? Like, I think the Soho House, there was a couple of people who, I don't know if you've read, I forgot who, it was like a week or two ago, they were saying, well, why don't they have the community build it, right? Have the community do it and have it be backed, by Yuga, saying, hey, let's have the Clubhouse be run by the community, opening up in the cities of the community so that they can do that. Because I don't think they can go the exclusive route, even though, they're valuable assets. I think if we make it a snobby thing where only, the wealthy and the well-connected can get in, I think it's going to be a bad, scene. I think it's supposed to be fun and party, I mean, we remember the old...
But that is the Soho model, though, and that's part of what makes Soho House cool. And part of what makes any club cool is that not everybody's in the club. How do they balance that is an interesting question. But Soho House is expensive. It is exclusive. It is not easy for everybody to get into. And that's literally why people like it.
And pay exorbitant yearly like membership prices, right? But also, like it's a place to see and be seen and to make like great deals. And so I think like before you actually like, drop an anchor point in like one of these metropolises and commit 100%, I think the smarter way is to do something akin to like what Proof is doing with pop-ups, but like worldwide, right? Like Proof is going around, like they just had like a gathering in London, with Freeze, like to release this new project along with Joy Division. It was really great, and like I see them doing this. They're going to go back to Japan. I like that, Yuga's kind of following the same footsteps, right? Like doing like the thing in Hong Kong now. Like maybe the solution is something of the sort where you can like go and like, okay, the Bored Apes are going to be in Japan for the next 3 months, rented out a space, and because you alienate a lot of people, right? Like these communities are worldwide, and when you commit to just one place, and it's usually like New York, Miami, or LA, you alienate a big chunk of the European and Asian community.
They have to start somewhere. Clearly, so it's an interesting. No, it's an interesting challenge. You have to start somewhere, but clearly they are thinking towards Asia because they got Ape Fest Hong Kong happening. But still, like starting in the US, in a Miami, New York, or LA, like those are the logical starting places for something like that.
Yeah, it's a great place to kick off for sure.
Yeah, I want to mention a real quick. Squashman is bringing out that Captain had a good post about what an IRL clubhouse will look like. Let's jump into that. Marty's also saying, are they back just because the CEO posted? low bar, so we can hit that afterwards. So this is from Captain Zwingli here. He's saying, picture this: the clubhouse made by apes, powered by ApeCoin. It starts with a single flagship corporate location, not Yuga corporate, a flagship clubhouse that proves the business model and serves as a training center for new franchises.
Yep.
Enjoy the lively bar, a chill lounge, the farm to table restaurant, a pickleball court, a podcast studio, art studio, cutting edge co-working space, and a gaming room with weekly LAN parties, plus interesting art on the bathroom walls. He's setting that up. I guess my one question here is kind of the same thing that you see with the other side and these metaverses that we've seen. Is there enough people that are going to be going to this place to make it worth it? That's where my mind
Somebody
goes
already
every
tried
time.
to do this, right? Somebody already tried to do this. His name's Adam Newman. It's called WeWork, and we saw what happened with that.
It's
right?
still around. I was in a WeWork for like 9 months.
How was it?
It was living in a fishbowl.
I bet.
I was gonna throw WeWork in here because, by the way, WeWork wasn't the only one of those businesses that came and went, that kind of failed very, very quickly, and so that's a very specific business model that comes with its own unique challenges. If you're trying to like literally like rent it out, and Soho House like bridges that a little bit, where again, it's kind of like an exclusive club place to go work as well, but they're not renting out space like that. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I do like the way that they painted that, and yeah, that sounds really cool. But yeah, what's the crossover appeal? How open and accessible is it? How exclusive? Dude, all this stuff is challenges.
You have to bring people. You have to bring people there. You have to make people wanna and have a reason to
pay.
Go. Yeah, well, to pay and to show up, right? Like it's not just people paying. You need live bodies
programming
in the place. Yeah, whether it be gallery, and I think they can play that in like gaming. Use the CryptoPunks for art events. But I like Biggie's idea of saying, because I wouldn't invest if I was, advising, do not invest in real estate because it's crazy. But doing the 3 months of like, say, hey, we're going to rent out a place for 3 months and we're going to make this an exclusive location, kind of the way, Bright Moments is doing in South Street Seaport in New York City, move it around and they spread the wealth until they figure out what their establishment is going to be. And I think they have to be in Miami.
Yeah, well, real estate especially, there's fucking wild.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So the last point of this, let's just wrap up this combo, move on. Is Bored Ape Yacht Club back? Marty's asking, is it back only because the CEO posted? I think you have to view the thumbnail as, those are again trying to get attention, and then you come in for the quality conversation. So I don't think we're going to be up here discussing whether it's officially back or whether it ever was gone, but this was at least a good step forward. In my opinion, the community sentiment was at an all-time low, and it's been trending downwards. And so what we have now is a community that feels a little bit more aligned. There was a little bit more clarity that was thrown out there. I keep bringing up the 10K TF piece because I was in a 10K TF room on Tuesday with Keegan, and it feels like those community members from the inside are still concerned with where that project is going after the acquisition.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
He's
10K
out.
TF definitely was.
And 10K TX sows, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
yeah. Wagmi-san.
You're lagging just a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, if that's their business model, wearables, they've got their competition cut out for them, right? And so, I mean, they have a right to be worried because there are, I think, projects that are doing a better job at it. And they're like just 100% focused on that and that alone. Whereas I feel KTF, it's a little bit dispersed because they also have these missions, right? Like these games you have to play. And so, but if in the end, the real assets are those wearables, which I recall, I might own one or two of those things. Yeah, good luck, man. That's all I'm saying. I mean, there's, with everything that's coming out right now with generative fashion, I'm sure you've heard it, and you'll start seeing it more and more come out, right? Like that's going to be applied to the metaverse side as well. And I think it's going to really, hinder a lot of even the just traditional artistic like wearables that are trying to come out and like conquer, right? Because again, it has that it factor that it can only exist because of crypto. And so, two people can go in there and buy the same sweater, but one of them is going to be more rare than the other one. And you can't recreate it, and it's a one of one, and it's very hard to compete for that. Even if you're Louis Vuitton or Gucci and you want to bring in your crap over to the metaverse, it's not going to have that same it factor. I don't think you're going to have to adopt something like that, like a generative model, in my opinion, to really make it enticing for people to invest in, right? Because in the end, you're buying it because you think it's going to appreciate, and because maybe you get lucky and you get something rare that really stands out in the metaverse, as opposed to another Louis Vuitton bag that you can fucking see anywhere. So yeah, good luck, 10KTF.
I don't disagree with what Marty's saying here in a sense. Like, I think the community sentiment would have been just as, oh my God, this is it, if Daniel had just said fuck it, Clubhouse Saturday. That being said, there are other collections now that are within Yuga that we literally just spent the last 20 minutes talking about it. Meebit's community doesn't feel great. 10KTF is like, what the hell's happening? Punks feel like fuck off, but we want something to happen. So like this whole Yuga experiment is nuts, and this was sorely needed. And the fact that he followed it up with PS Clubhouse is that mode in my opinion.
I think Quantum, you and I were like, you kind of started this idea, but I think you called it headless. But to me, like, we're coming up with this metaphor. It's really like an 8-headed hydra of some kind that just doesn't have a single leader. It's all fighting itself, not really clear who like what's what, how does it all fit in? And yeah, he's now dealing with that, this whole complexity chasmed ecosystem, which is a very different thing. I think it's interesting to think, Marty's saying sentiment is slightly better without Franklin. I do think there's something to say that like the focus, I do feel like, is getting back towards more like, what are the projects doing, the lore, the IP, the world, the games, the utilities, all these other things besides just focusing on flipping and floor price all the time. And I actually do see less of that, just fixating constantly on, I flipped an ape for 0.02 ETH. I'm just like, it got for a while, especially when Blur was relatively new, and Franklin and Machi, like, it was all about fucking floor price constantly and nothing else.
All right.
So
I think Franklin also, I'm not Franklin. I don't know if you've been listening to some of the ApeCoin Council meetings, and like Franklin was great. He was kind of, he made his trades. He did what he did. And Machi and him battling back and forth were entertaining, but nothing good for the community. But Machi has been showing up, and he's a loud, rambunctious voice, screaming and yelling about everything, calling everybody jerks, but he has really smart ideas. And he's like, listen, I want ApeCoin to be $20. He's like, I want apes to be, 150 ETH. Like, he's like, I want to move this forward. And this is the way. He's like, you have ideas? He's like, vote for it. He's like, put it up for a vote. He's like, let's do something. And I feel like that's pushed a lot of volume to ApeCoin Council. I've never seen the meetings as big as they have been since his proposal, and I think so on both sides, like, they're dealing with the trying to figure out how they're going to structure the corporate side, but the community is half the battle, and I think Machi and the ApeCoin Council has been making some big headways into, bolstering up and having it feel like maybe apes are back. Maybe BAYC is back.
Yeah, there's some ape chain talk that's kind of going within the community as well. So like when I mentioned this sentiment, like floor price is at $1. I'm not saying it can't go lower. It certainly fucking can, but it has gone lower already. So the question of, is this a bottom, when you're talking about things like adding utility of a chain, adding Machi into the mix? Machi to me is like some type of Billy the Kid character though. Like you're just like, yes, like yes, he's going to drive interest. This shit is going to
Anti-hero.
get crazy. But is this motherfucker going to shoot me when I'm not looking? That's my thing with Machi. I got to be wary.
He's an anti-hero for sure. Marty saying, how many people are going to be able to go to this clubhouse? There's only going to be like 3 people at the bar, LOL. You know, I think one of the coolest aspects of it, and again, one of the coolest things about being part of Soho House is that you get to bring friends. And so if they can add that social element and the like guest pass part of it really well and make it super easy and awesome for people to bring their friends there, that's going to be some of the best marketing that they're going to have. And also, again, that provides a lot of social value back to you. If it's an actual cool clubhouse, if it's a really cool exclusive place with cool programming and cool amenities, and you have the access and you can bring a couple of your friends there, that's really fucking dope, actually.
Especially if it's opened up to all Yuga holders, right? Like we're thinking apes, it's only 10,000.
No, Meebits. This is why Meebits to me are actually worth something right now.
Exactly.
All right, guys, we are going to move it out of the Yuga talk here in the Yuga Labs show. I guess based on, just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and not a Roman thumbs up, just a real American thumbs up, thumbs down on whether you liked his post, the Daniel Legray's post here.
Yes, I liked it. I think it's important. You need to cut some fat. You need to reorganize. It's normal in every startup. It's only in Web3 where people fucking freak out because something is no longer part of their roadmap or people pivot. Everywhere else, don't bat an eye. This applies here.
All right. I mean, bull runs always do this, you know, even corporations, right? The corporations that were built, Peloton, you know, in the pandemic, you know, I think, you know, you have to cut staff, you have to make yourself lean. So I'm thinking he's the right leader at this time.
DP rounding us out with the comment of the day so far: country club for basement dwellers.
Isn't that literally what Bored Ape was launched as? Basically, it was like the D-Gen club.
There better be a bathroom everybody could write on.
The exclusive club for degenerates. That's literally so. But that's a great way to put it, man.
All right, Pepe TV coming in with a thumbs down. So we got a negative reaction. All right, we are moving on into the remainder of the episode, guys. We are smack dab, kind of in the middle of NFT Live. We appreciate you guys joining early. We did get all the socials out. Try to bring as many folks in here as possible. We want it to be a rambunctious crew. We got about 20 minutes left, so let's move on. We are Trailer Maxis. We did promise that we were going to share that Nifty Kit feature. Quantum, if you have any other stuff to share after we cover this, I would love to as well. So get ready to watch Quantum Variant watching himself live. We love to be okay. Looking fit there.
My name is Joseph Girardi, aka Quantum Variant. I am an artist living and working in Brooklyn, New York. I self-identify as an abstract artist. In that genre is so wide and has so many definitions, I definitely fall within that realm of a digital abstract artist.
Quantum, we have to break this up because we don't want to get hit with the copyright by YouTube, but
this is so much better. It's so much better than him just actually sitting here talking to us. You know what I mean? It's way better.
It's a long video, and Jessica supposedly had all these issues of it, like, oh, she had it edited down and she would look back and it was like it was 20 minutes. She's like, I got to get it under 3. It's a great piece, though. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, it makes me want to move to New York, dude.
That project right there is the one that I actually have pulled up right here, which is one of the ones that I definitely own, which is Waveform Collapse, which is absolutely fucking beautiful. Maybe just tell us a little bit about like this project and the things that you've been working on. I know this isn't your current project, but it's one of the ones you launched maybe a year ago, something like that.
Yeah, but about a year ago.
These are beautiful.
So like, I don't do the coding side, right? Like I'm not from a coding background. I use, After Effects and Photoshop and stuff like that. But I love the idea of having the hash of the person who minted and the hash that they minted control the artwork like it does in art blocks and Prohibition and FX hash. And I was like, how do I cross that boundary? And so I developed this whole After Effects project that kind of gave me the ability to manually do that same process. I didn't know what work was going to come out when I would take the hash of the people who minted and put it into the program and run it out and generate these assets. So it's kind of like a backwards way of doing my own, art blocks project without really knowing the code. I want to learn the code. I've been dabbling with a few projects to hopefully get into the full-on gen art side of it. But yeah, this was one that, I worked on for a long time trying to get all these things tweaked out. And, I really love the color palette, fell in love with, the way everything works together. And it's all generated. So none of this is, pixels that I'm putting together. This is all, I don't know what's going to come out. And I thought it produced pretty beautiful results.
I agree, Quantum, and hats off to you, man, that you don't let your inability to code, hinder you from creating. I think we need more of that in the space, like those are not limitations. Those are like opportunities, like for you, Quantum, to jerry-rig your own solution, right? And contribute this own approach to generative art, because at the same time, like you said, you're still using the hash to generate to imbue it with a certain amount of randomness, right? And yeah, man, I applaud you for that. It's super cool. I'm curious, one, do you always work in that sexy light that they show you working on, like purple hues, and it's like super dark? Because I see it and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right?
Yeah,
like, I go blind.
There was so many when I was talking to Jessica afterwards, and I was like, people, if my clients saw me working in that light, I'm like, how are you color matching, with all those different colors?
What?
So
He's about to go to bed. What time do you work?
and that's the old studio. This is this studio that I'm in now is the new studio, which is a lot more, I don't know, it's way more comfy in this new space. So, Jessica did a great job. I mean, I was expecting someone to show up with a video camera and a mic, and she came in with a film crew and like relit my whole studio and, was shooting on 3 different cameras at the same time, had a mic person, it was kind of beyond, and hopefully she'll be doing more of these with other artists. So kind of excited to be the first one.
Man.
Yeah.
She pulled it off. It's really nice. Like I said, it almost makes me want to move back to the East Coast. It's not happening.
Well,
I still think like the minute I do that, I'm sure like we'd have the worst winter, like or some shit like that. The second question I want to ask you though, Quantum, is your name. I don't know if you ever addressed that, like the quantum variant. I find it really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing with this name for a really long time, and I just felt like I'm really into space and quantum technology and like all those thought science, side of the quantum world. And I just felt like we're all just a slight variation, on a particle that moved in a certain way, and I felt like that was kind of a good way. And when I started thinking that through and just writing down different names that I wanted as an artist piece, as a name, it felt really natural to really fit with me. Because it feels like, I take the way I look at the world is that like every moment is just a variation that could have gone one way, could have gone the other way. And I'm trying to capture that moment. And that's kind of where I lie in that space is within that realm and capturing that single moment to me that I feel is beautiful. And that's kind of the way I've worked since I started, doing a lot of this style of artwork, over the years. So,
all right. Squashman saying, are there
variants
to the quantum variant name? And then, folks, we do have to move on to the next. We're trying to keep these under an hour. I do a absolutely terrible job of that. So, quantum. Last question there from Squash, and then let's move on.
No, there's no variance in the variant name.
All right, drop any links that I can then put into the community chat.
Okay.
There, we will have all those links in the description as well, folks, if you want to check out Quantum's work. All right, we do have another trailer.
You just cut out.
And
Q.
we also have, I was trying to share my screen at the same time. This is showbiz, people. We have a SugarTown Oras reveal trailer, guys. And we also have It's Happening. Let's see. It's amazing what a fucking low bar it is in the space. Like, these guys pulled this off just by adding different little animated characters that weren't the same character, like a Azuki, that weren't the same character like a Captain's. They went with the animated characters, non-humanoid character. Like, this is just like Zynga's been not fucking up is probably what I'd say. Like, they haven't been messing up. This isn't world ending or the innovation, but they didn't mess it up.
Yeah,
they look like glorified animated Reddit avatars, you know. But yeah, not impressed.
You're not impressed. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're part of the characters. They looked relatively unique. We're gonna jump into Blur now, but like, it's not a total just mishap, fall on your face like we've seen from all these other fucking companies.
Look, they don't have a gambling partnership or a clothing line. Biggie's not here for this, okay?
True.
It's not Saints of LA material. he just left. Oh no.
You just had to bring him into this.
We should check it on Saints. But no, I'm actually we kind of faded it early. I was kind of like, the way that they're separating and siloing off the sub brand without promoting it on any main Zynga channels feels too much like other outdated marketing strategies that haven't worked, and launch strategies. Like the initial reaction to the art and the launch strategy, I was not very optimistic on. But as they've executed through the launch, doing a free mint that went well, starting to show more of what the auras look like, the art is actually pretty good. And then the ways that they're starting to engage the community, I've become more bullish on this. And I again, not financial advice, but I'm sure this will dump after reveal. But I'm going to be watching that floor. And if I find something I can be sniping to actually get in on this now, having missed the free mint, I think Zynga's maybe going to be doing this better than a lot of people. And look, Zynga has mobile gaming expertise that nobody else in the world has.
So is this a mobile game? Because that's the thing. It's like, if you're trying to impress people who are gamers, you have to be specific. If this is a mobile game, maybe I'm impressed. But if this is a desktop game, it's like,
true.
I'm not going to play this on my PlayStation, but if I'm going to play it on my phone, even then, there's some pretty great games. I mean,
I don't know if Zynga has any games that aren't mobile social games. So I'm not saying it's impossible,
casual, right? Casual gaming too.
Yeah, it could be like a web browser game. Maybe again, the technology is very limiting still for Web3, and so it has to be like a browser game instead of mobile optimized for some reasons. But if you go look at Zynga's entire portfolio, all I know of is mobile games.
All right, I did show you the revealed characters there. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon. It's not the greatest, but keep in mind the floor price ran up to 0.22 here on pre-reveal. So just keep that in mind when we check in on SugarTown Auras over the next week or two. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon. Let me see here. These are not as cool as the ones in the trailer. I got duped a little bit, but it's not bad. Like, the variety's there. I get where they're going with the IP.
They're like beans. They remind me of beans.
They do they do remind me of beans. Yep.
I mean, they're making the most out of that. The trailer makes them look a lot cooler. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see how they're able to bring IP to life, already, and the fact that early on they're providing high quality animation Again, just they have the resources, they got the teams, they got the experience to actually execute on cool shit, man. So I'm feeling more optimistic. I'm not saying like Yuga's I'm not saying Zynga's amazing already and like I'm not saying Zynga's gonna absolutely be here for the long term. We don't know, but I just feel like their execution's been much better than anticipated.
All right, so we're going to move on into the next story here. I really want to quickly talk about the biggest winners and the losers. Grapes NFT is still running that Animoca-backed collection that has some sort of DeFi mechanic. I never jumped into Grapes. I know some people in the community definitely have. SugarTown is also up, but maybe a little bit back to like a more of a 9% gain on the day than the 20 it was at the start. Rec Guys is up, Digidaigaku and Renga all up. Biggest losers, something's going on with Crypto Dick Butts. I tried to check out their profile. They haven't posted in what feels like 2 months, but they are down about 14%. Ether Avatar's down 10, Cool Cat's down 10, Hooligans down 10.
Got to give you some credit on that one, Q, because you were not bullish or excited about the fading off to the sunset and trying to hand off the project to some unknown community members who were going to vie for that chance, to take over the Dick Butts.
I'm going to make sure that Biggie doesn't run too far away here. I'm going to talk quickly about Social 5, Biggie. I do have some updates here from Stars Arena. We were watching this. Before I do, I'll just quickly mention the Friendtech stats did pop up a little bit. You can see return users up 30, daily buy volume up 12. So we do see a little bit of a return in user base, maybe from Stars Arena, honestly. And that just ties into the other story here, which is what happened to Stars Arena. This is a great thread, by the way, that this Sherbach was following it as it happened over a 3-hour period. Basically, TLDR here, Stars Arena went online on Sunday, went live for trading on Monday or Tuesday, and subsequently we were kind of watching the total value locked. What would happen? Are users going to run once trading goes live? Well, they did. It went from a total value locked of 2 million to 1 million, and people are kind of saying, all right, we're fine. We lost the paper hands, we're good. And then the app started to not work. So there were some syncing issues with the nodes from Avalanche, and the app started to not work. People couldn't even see what other people were trading. And so that, and I want to make sure I get in here, that spooked some bigger accounts that were on Friendtech before, mind you, if you want to get into conspiracy theories. And before, I mean now, they're the biggest holders. Those two accounts specifically that I'll pull up dumped massively on their holder base and left, basically saying that this is we're not here for it.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
that was a cascade that sent it down at even another 100%.
It's a run on
rightfully
the bank.
so, right? Rightfully so. You only get a second shot, like very seldom, especially in this space. They had it. They lost it. It's over. I mean, I don't use it, but if I were, I'd be pulling out too, right? Like what would you do, Q? You'd stick around and see if they can do it again. Third time's a charm? Hell no. Not in this space.
Yeah, I kind of agree, man. It's like I'm still optimistic a little bit that hopefully they'll figure it out and there's a chance here on AVAX, but the fact that you have this kind of like sputter and like start stop, like multiple times, it's showing kind of what you've been saying too, Q, that the team maybe really doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. It's definitely a reason to be concerned. And it's unfortunate because I think they have something, but if they can't execute and make it work, then
these are going to make it harder for everybody else to do it. Like Friendtech did it, they were copying it and they were making headway, right? Because Friendtech was way too expensive. And now if the Solana one or if the Polygon one, like everybody's going to be hesitant to jump into anything else, and Friendtech better lock their shit down because if they screw up, it's like all done and people will just run to shit coins again, because that's the next new meta.
So these are the two accounts that were mentioned. Oh my god! All right, I'm gonna kick Biggie up out of here. All right, first domino was a large account, Bombatus, who had allegedly been dumping their own tickets since the platform opened. Remember, you couldn't see people trading on the app. It was that bad. This impacted other big account portfolios shortly after the Bogfather dumped and exited, citing frustration with the buggy platform. Then panic, and then total value locked continues to plummet. Okay. That's the foundation. We don't have to spend too much more time on it, but you could make the conspiracy that these larger friend tech accounts that were on Stars Arena were like, let's fuck around with Stars Arena and try to get this platform to kind of collapse on itself. That's probably a reach, but that might have been 5% of why they did this.
The run on the bank thing really makes, like, I don't know if when Signature Bank fell, right? Like the beginning of this year, Peter Thiel calling up all his people, all his companies and telling them, get your money out. It's a run. That's all it takes is one big or a couple of big people to run on a bank, because it is a bank. It's just a crypto bank, really, of all the stored funds in there. People are going to cash out and watch it go to zero. It's sad, but hopefully people got out, before they lost everything.
Bro, DeFi is a scary place, man.
Yeah,
it's unforgiving, I think, but as willing as degens are to take risk in this space, they are also very unforgiving because they've been burnt so many times, right? And I'm sure like a lot of these people that were on Stars Arena were just waiting for an opportunity to maybe not take that big of a loss or cash out at, break even and get the fuck out. And when they had the chance, they did it. And you know what? That's what you need. But then to have the app sputter the way it did, that's it. That's just like the death knell.
The integration of tokens, rewards points, different community incentives, and payouts, creator payments within social media is one of the most fascinating conversations now, and probably again for most of next year. Like I've been saying, I think 2024 is going to be huge for SocialFi, but the Reddit story I think is super relevant to this. Somebody also brought up, like, does Reddit sort of cutting and running from their creator points and integrating tokens mean anything for X and plans that Elon might have for launching tokens or different creator rewards? I don't know how those two link per se, but I just mean, like, I do think everybody that's in social media and crypto right now and experimenting with SocialFi is trying to figure out what are the incentives, what are the price points, what are the levers that you can pull, and also still create an actually like valuable community, valuable quality experience. Again, reach XYZ. This just seems to be one of the most interesting places, and it gets back into also this larger like societal global issue of reputation management, disinformation, all this shit, man. It's a fascinating world. This
addition of tools, and you could make the claim again that Rally did this, that certain other piece. You could even make the claim that NFTs for like especially the smaller projects were an extension of the reputation for the founder. Like if it didn't go well, then your reputation kind of suffered or something like that. But I think SocialFi brings it directly into the forefront without like this obfuscation. Like you talk about Bogfather and the other account that was large. There were people that were upset at them for doing that, because again, they can't trade from like some anonymous account. It's literally tied to their X profile that they're, very like known for. So now you have this group that's like, you're actually a shitty person because of what you did. So it's like all of these things tying together. It's fair. It's my most interesting piece of all of this is the reputation that comes along with this SocialFi.
The NFT aspect of this is really interesting because you're right, except when you're anonymous. The difference here is you're having to tie it back to a specific, but even again, you can still have an anonymous Twitter account, but it's still like more clearly tracking you. And that is, to me, again, why we have been in our circles and on our network and et cetera, talking for so long about why we shouldn't be handing over millions and millions of dollars to undoxed founders. because we've just seen that there's zero accountability and they're gonna fucking rug you in some ways. I think, this is taking that next step of like, nobody likes to KYC, but how do you actually have any sort of accountability to anything if you don't know who the fuck you're dealing with?
And now this is another tool to track someone's reputation. It's kind of like it's not the thing, but it is one thing you can point to and be like, well, that person seems to have a good reputation. They haven't rugged anybody.
Dude, and I'm excited to talk more about creatorhood next week.
All right. Yeah, definitely +1 on that. All right, let's move in quickly. I'm going to cover this lightning round. We do have to end the episode here shortly. Adding on to that Reddit piece, there was an allegation now of insider trading on these Reddit community points tokens that were in the news for the last 48 hours. You can see here, Reddit admins told the cryptocurrency moderators, the mods that are handing out moon tokens to people that are active and have their own. And you can see 3 moderators selling moon tokens before the general public knew, and then subsequently dropped like 80% in volume. So you potentially have a lawsuit. You have another negative headline for fucking people like Elizabeth Warren to point to. So yeah, tough one.
This is to me the worst shit that we needed. Because
and Reddit put this out. So did Reddit actually release this coin? It was all based on them. They did the tokenomics and all this other stuff.
It's tough to get a handle. They had a team. They had somebody working on this, right? Like it wasn't just like hand off. It was like they had some resources that were around developing this,
right? But someone had to put in the
but
liquidity, right? Someone had to fund it.
They were launched from subreddit communities. It wasn't like a corporate initiative or anything. But then they
supported it.
But then they decided to support it and adopt it. The move was that they were going to basically globally integrate these established community tokens for the Reddit rewards points and make it like a currency within the platform. But Reddit was literally one of the only shining beacons of hope that we had in the space. And now that they are basically contributing to like, the scam narrative, right? The FUD scam narrative is to me just like honestly one of the worst fucking situations, because like literally Reddit was one of the best fucking things that we could point to anybody outside of the space.
Yep. Yeah, agree. Starbucks hopefully doesn't do something fucked up.
That's what I was gonna say.
Dude, Nike and Starbucks are literally
don't fuck us.
It's all we have left.
Coffee and shoes.
Which is happening tomorrow. Dot swoosh claim for the sneaker tomorrow. If you're a dot
You're
swoosh.
muted.
Yeah, if we can get that link, Quantum, we can show that. If you can drop it.
I can pull
or
it up.
let's pull it up. All right, the last 2 that I'm going to barely cover here as we end today's episode. Again, we had Quantum Variant for the very first time. It's been fantastic chatting with you, sir. The flooring protocol got more TVL today, so we saw interest flood in. Again, be wary about some of these metrics. You could have a lot of well-capitalized individuals that are involved in pumping up these numbers, but you can see 8,785 in 24-hour inflow. ETH, I was mentioning, in 24-hour inflow into the now Bored Ape Yacht Club pool, which made its, way onto the apps only 7 hours ago. So this is a fractionalizing platform. Again, folks, you can own 0.001% of a Bored Ape. If you would like to speculate on that, bigger and larger farmers can speculate and I think earn some APY here on the flooring app. But essentially what it is, it's a new fractionalization application, and it seems to have some initial interest.
There was a lot of people talking that this could help level and give people the liquidity without dropping floors, where it's not people racing to the bottom. So there might be some possibility there for it to help the market. I don't know enough about it. It's not like blur farming. So, but I don't know enough about it to really say.
Yeah. I don't know if any of us do, other than like it's high risk DeFi playing and trying to speculate more on JPEGs, and now you're fractionalizing PFPs in weird ways. So look, if you can make it work, but like be careful.
Yeah, we need to do a deeper dive for sure. Biggie, any thoughts on flooring or the shattered contracts before we move on?
Yeah, I'm gonna play that game at all. Like I understand, like, dude, I've had several people that obviously are better players at this game than I am, right? And their usual whole reason is that this exists so that you can protect your downside, right? You can cover your downside, and then they go into the whole explanation about why, if you think floors are going to crash, you can take out a loan and then you can buy in again later, and assuming you don't care for your asset rarity or whatever. I've rarely actually met people that do that, like that. It's like, oh, I'm playing this game to protect my downside. Most of the time it's like, I'm hoping this motherfucker crashes and burns and I get to take his asset. So no, I'm not playing that fucking game.
That's fair. I feel like we do need a deep dive with some individual that's actually using these.
Get him on the show. Let's get him on the show
over here.
Until we get him on the show, I follow whatever Biggie Alpha Chad Poppins says. So just know that I'm with Biggie on that one. Also, DP making some great combo over here. Bro. DP saying, let's keep it real. Most people don't even have a good excuse to go against KYC. It's just cool to go against it.
Okay,
people swear they're Jason Bourne.
Agree with that.
Yeah, it's an interesting take, but DP, DP,
no.
When are you going to also grace the stage like our man Quantum's finally doing? You got to hop on sometime.
Bro.
He has his own podcast, man. That's what I'm saying. You got to hop on sometime and chime in and let Biggie confront you face to face.
No, but I will push back on that take, because honestly, like, I think that's the take that regulators want you to take, right? That the reason people don't want to do the KYC thing is because we're all money launderers, we're all scammers, we don't want to pay our taxes, and that's fair. I'm sure there's a percentage of people that's their main reason. The majority of them, though, in my opinion, is because they don't want to surrender that information, because these companies are bad custodians of our information, and they always get hacked, and they always end up just apologizing. They barely cover any of the damages that come out of their fucking negligence, right? So whenever I fucking sign up for anything, I always push back. It's like, why do you need my social? And I try to put layers of obfuscation and distance between me and that, because I know that at some point there's a very high probability that their fucking security is gonna fuck up and they're gonna get hacked, and then it's gonna come back to me. And when I try to complain, I'm gonna be calling some 800 fucking hotline that has me on hold forever and doesn't do shit for me. That's why I don't want a KYC, bro.
We're never gonna end this show now.
It's a little bit like when we talk about wallet hygiene. It's not that you're never going to be 100% secure, but it's securing yourself as best you can. And I think that's the same way with this. It's like, yes, I'm not fucking Jason Bourne off the grid yet, but that doesn't mean I want a KYC for 10 fucking places that I basically open myself up for other points of failure.
I can't wait in the West, like, remember, we're in America.
Yeah,
like the rest of the world has issues. If all of a sudden they're doing something illegally that their government considers illegal, and they can be literally taken out and gotten rid of. They have to be a little bit more discreet with some of their transactions they're trying to do.
Yeah, I can't wait for zero knowledge proof, and I also can't wait for Nike Tinaj dropping tomorrow. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to get us out of here, Q. I'm trying to get us out of here.
I like these. I might pick one up. $150. Like, that's not bad for a Nike.
Is it only for holders?
I believe so.
Right now, it's a utility just for the ones that actually minted and opened an OF1
and I
box.
wear my shoes. I don't keep them in a box.
I have the access. I have access to this. If somebody wants them, like, Venmo me the $150. I'll get it for you. Like,
which one do you have?
You're not taking a fee?
Venmo me $151 or whatever cover the fucking shipping, the taxes.
These are kind of bland to me, to be honest. Like, I get like the
I think they're just okay. To me, they're just okay.
Like, I'm
Yeah, well, exactly. Me shoes. I'm not blown away by them, but like they're cool enough that like if I had them, I would probably wear them.
They
Sometimes.
stand out, you know.
Yeah.
I think
They're
they'll be
hideous.
unique enough, you know.
Just
They're
don't
like
rock
pandas.
Air Force Ones. Like I stopped rocking Air Force Ones after like 17. Like I just don't rock.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like Air Maxes are another deal. I could rock some 95s, but yeah, these.
Yeah. Air Force One meta is done. So
All right,
anyway.
guys, we do have to get out of here. There was some positive news. I want to round out, other than the Nike artifact. I just want to briefly thank Elon Musk and Mark Cuban. Maybe more Elon Musk. Mark Cuban's kind of a jerk in Web3 right now for sure with the bullshit he's getting himself into. But Elon Musk and Mark Cuban filed joint amicus brief at the Supreme Court calling for an overhaul of the SEC's proceedings. That's a positive. That's positive pushback.
I'm offended that they didn't also have my face. I signed it too. I was right there with Mark and Elon signing that shit. But where's my highlight?
How are you
Where's
doing
my
this?
feature?
I'm shook right now how he's doing this.
He has the new iOS feature or something like that. But he's on mute.
We can't hear him.
It's a
Hey,
Brave
great.
feature. I think it's a Brave browser feature. And so,
I'll
like,
just throw
if
up
you go
confetti.
if you go up to the little camera icon, like in your not the navigation bar, yeah, like the very top premier like browser bar, it should have a thing called reactions, and then
Oh,
yo, what's up?
I'm at my own studio now.
there you go.
Oh god.
Oh
The
shit!
little beige couch that I got.
Yo, Jack's Hideaway gets it though. Put a coffin on those shoes. Let's collab. And then,
Yeah, when's
then they'll be
Coffin's
fucking
coming
lit.
out?
November
When are you-
13th.
Oh.
Allow list coming very soon though. I actually started the setup process yesterday. So allow
Nice.
list soon. More details soon. All right.
Nice.
All right, folks. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go around the box. I'm going to put Quantum Varied up in the top left, and he's going to sign us out. We're giving you that honor here, Quantum. But
Don't
thank
fuck
you
it
guys
up.
for tuning in all the way through. Give a like for Quantum Variant. Give a like for all my awesome co-hosts up here. We will see you tomorrow on the rehash. No NFT live, but we will see you on the beautiful rehash. Hopefully you're having yourself a good week. All right, Biggie, let's go.
Oh yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I think all degens, there should be like a world degen day or week maybe. There you go. He pulled it off. He found it. Hell yeah. Yeah, I love you fam as usual, and I'll see you guys next week.
Hell yeah, man. Big love and
OVOT.
appreciation to all y'all, Biggie, Nifty Q, and Quantum. Quantum, I love that you came on here, man. And again, we could have done a better job promoting it, but this is our test run.
Yeah.
I really hope you're going to come back more, and we'll be talking about all this stuff because you're a fucking amazing dude. All of y'all out there hanging out in the chat, you're amazing. Look out for the rehash. All the people that engage with those, that share them out, that like, comment, support it. Y'all are the GOATs. Cannot say it enough. We like seriously, the ones that are really out here hanging out in the chat, engaging, sharing this stuff, helping us build this thing. Thank you, our Vibe, our tribe.
Quantum, take us out.
Take us out. How can I say, thank you for allowing me or inviting me on here so many times and keeping at me to make sure that I come on. I'm glad to be here. It was a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun. Trust me, it's fun in the chat too. So I like chatting it up there as well. Thank you again for, everybody listening. And yeah, I finally get to say it. Our vibe, our tribe.
What? What? I try to run you off the road? Will you buy my bags? I have Ethereum for sale. I want you to buy it, sir. Wait, come back. Sir!